Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt your legs hesitate just for a moment? Maybe you brushed it off, thinking it's probably just stiffness, or maybe I sat too long. But what if that little pause, what if that wobble, is actually your body sending a quiet warning? I want you to picture this. Your legs, the ones that have carried you through years of hard work, raising kids, traveling, dancing, walking your dog, those same legs might be starting to fade. Not overnight, not all at once, but slowly, quietly. You might find yourself avoiding stairs, leaning on walls, or hesitating before a simple walk around the block. Maybe you're even taking fewer walks altogether, and you can't quite remember when it started. But here's the truth. Your legs are often the very first part of your body to weaken as you age. Not your heart, not your memory, your legs. And when that happens, it can lead to real danger, like unexpected falls, long hospital stays, and even losing the freedom to move around your own home. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be that way. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through 3 early warning signs your legs may be weakening, and more importantly, I'll share 3 powerful foods that can help bring strength back to your body, foods that are simple, affordable, and can protect your independence. If you've ever felt worried about your legs or balance, I want you to comment me below so I know you're with me, and so others know they're not alone either. And if you're serious about aging strong and living well, don't forget to subscribe to BT Elderly Advice. You're in the right place. Now let's get started. Warning sign number 1. You start slowing down without noticing. Frank was 75, a retired auto mechanic from a small town in Ohio. He was the kind of man who never sat still for long. Always fixing something, his neighbor's lawnmower, his nephew's old truck, even his own back gate, which probably didn't even need fixing. Every morning, like clockwork, he'd lace up his sneakers and walk 2 full laps around the neighborhood. Not for exercise, he'd say, but just to get the joints oiled. It was his routine, his peace, his pride. But over time, something started to change, quietly, almost too slowly to notice. One day, instead of walking twice around the block, he did one. The next week, he told himself he'd just go to the end of the street and back. Then, just to the mailbox. And eventually, some days, not at all. When his daughter asked about it, he waved her off with a chuckle. Just getting older, sweetheart. Legs ain't what they used to be. But here's the thing. That wasn't just aging. That was the first red flag. Many seniors like Frank begin to slow down without realizing it. They adjust to the weakness. They start using their arms to push off the chair. They pause halfway up the stairs. They lean on countertops without thinking. It all feels harmless, just minor changes. But those little changes add up. What's really happening inside? After age 60, we start to lose muscle mass, especially in the big muscles like those in your thighs. And if you don't use them, they shrink even faster. It's called age-related muscle loss, and it sneaks in slowly. Just like Frank's quiet retreat from his morning walks. If you're nodding your head right now, I want you to comment 1 below so I know you've felt this too, and so others can see they're not alone either. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to BT Elderly Advice. You're going to need what we share next, because that hesitation in your step, that extra second before you stand, it's not nothing. It's your body whispering, I need your help. Warning sign number 2. Cold, numb, or tingling feet that you ignore. Eleanor was 83. She'd spent most of her life as a librarian, calm, gentle, always surrounded by books and stories. After losing her husband 10 years ago, she lived alone in the same house they once shared, where the mornings were quiet and the kettle always whistled at 9 a.m. She loved her routine, knitting by the window with a warm cup of tea and the soft hum of classical music in the background. But lately, something had been bothering her. No matter how warm the room was, her feet always felt cold. Even with thick socks, even with the heater on. Sometimes they tingled. Sometimes they went completely numb. She brought it up briefly during a checkup, just my circulation, I guess, but the doctor didn't make much of it. So she brushed it off too. But here's what no one told her. Cold, tingling, or numb feet are not just a small nuisance. They're often one of the first signs of poor circulation, and in seniors, that can mean something much more serious: peripheral artery disease or PED. See, as we get older, the blood vessels in our legs can narrow and stiffen. Plaque builds up, and the blood, your body's fuel, struggles to reach your feet and legs. Without enough oxygen-rich blood, your muscles weaken faster, especially in the lower legs and thighs. Imagine trying to run an engine without enough fuel. That's what poor circulation does to your body. Most people ignore these signs until it's too late. But you don't have to. If you've felt cold feet, numbness, or strange tingling lately, I want you to comment too below so we can talk about it. And don't forget to subscribe to BT Elderly Advice, because the next sign we're about to share is something that affects not just your legs, but your confidence. Now let's move to one of the hardest and most emotional warnings of all. Warning sign number 3. You start avoiding movement because you're afraid to fall. Robert was 78, a proud Vietnam veteran, and a man who, even in his late 70s, still wore his old gardening gloves like a badge of honor. His backyard was his sanctuary: rows of tomatoes, a patch of herbs, and flowers his late wife used to love. Every morning, he'd be out there before breakfast, checking the soil, trimming the bushes, whistling softly to himself. That little garden, it kept him going. But then one day, something changed. While reaching to cut a low branch near the fence, Robert stepped backward and nearly tripped over a rake. He didn't fall. He caught himself. But in that split second, something inside him shifted. He paused, looked around, sat down on the bench instead. The next morning, he stayed in. Then the next. And just like that, the garden went quiet. It wasn't that his body had suddenly given out. It was fear. The fear of falling. The fear of no one being there to help. The fear of breaking something and losing his independence. And that fear, it spreads. The moment you start doubting your legs, everything changes. You take shorter steps. You walk slower, more cautiously. Your body tenses up, your balance gets worse, and suddenly, you're moving less and less. Not because your legs are too weak, but because your mind has stopped trusting them. And it's heartbreaking, because people around you might say, "He's just being lazy." Or, "She used to be so active. What happened?" But they don't see the panic. The silent voice that says, "What if I fall this time?" If this sounds familiar, if you've ever held back because of fear, I want you to comment 3 below. You're not weak. You're not alone. You're being human. And the good news? Confidence can be rebuilt. Bit by bit. Walk a few laps in your hallway. Stand near a countertop and shift your weight side to side. Use a cane, a walker, not as a crutch, but as a stepping stone. You can come back from this. And next, I'll show you how, starting with 3 simple foods that can give your legs the strength and energy they deserve. Let's bring your body and your confidence back to life. Robert's story reminds us of something many people don't talk about: how fear can be just as limiting as physical weakness. But whether your legs feel shaky because of lost strength, poor blood flow, or lost confidence, there's one thing that can help in all 3 areas: the food you put on your plate. Because here's the truth: your body still responds to care. Even at 70, 80, or beyond, you can rebuild strength one bite at a time. Let's start with one of the most powerful foods for your legs, something simple, nourishing, and proven to work. Food number 1: salmon, the muscle healer and circulation booster. It might not seem like a leg-saving food at first glance, but salmon is one of the best things you can eat if your legs have started to weaken. It helps in 2 critical ways. First, it's packed with high-quality protein. And your muscles, especially the big ones in your thighs, need protein to rebuild and stay strong. As we get older, we naturally lose muscle. But our bodies can still respond and regrow muscle tissue as long as we give it the right fuel. Salmon delivers that. Second, salmon is rich in omega-3 fatty acids. These healthy fats reduce inflammation and help improve blood flow by keeping your arteries soft and open. That means more oxygen and nutrients can get to your leg muscles, which helps them stay energized and recover after movement. You don't need to eat it every day. Even just once or twice a week can make a difference. and it's easier to add to your diet than you think. You can bake a fillet with some lemon and herbs, add canned salmon to a salad or sandwich, or pick up pre-cooked portions at the grocery store. Don't worry if fresh salmon is expensive where you live. Canned salmon is affordable, just as nutritious, and lasts longer in the pantry. And no, the fat in salmon isn't bad. It's the good kind, the kind your heart and muscles love. If you've had salmon before or you're thinking about trying it now, comment for below. I'd love to hear how you use it in your meals. Now, let's move on to something a little greener, humble, everyday vegetables that have more power in them than most people realize. They don't just protect your bones, they might protect your independence. Food 2, leafy greens. Now, let's talk about something that might already be sitting in your fridge, but doesn't get the credit it deserves. Leafy greens. Spinach, kale, collard greens, Swiss chard, even the lettuce in your salad mix. These may seem like basic vegetables, but they're actually one of the most powerful tools you have to protect your legs, especially the bones that support them. See, when we think about leg strength, we often focus only on muscles. But muscles don't work well if the bones underneath them are brittle. That's where leafy greens come in. They're loaded with calcium, magnesium, and vitamin K, 3 nutrients your bones absolutely depend on to stay strong. As we age, our bones naturally lose density. That's why so many seniors are at risk for fractures, even from a small fall. But if you're feeding your body the right nutrients that help keep bones dense and stable, you're giving yourself a better chance at staying upright, steady, and confident on your feet. And here's something else you might not know. Leafy greens also have anti-inflammatory properties. That means they can help reduce swelling in your legs and ankles, which often comes with poor circulation or long periods of sitting. Getting more greens into your meals doesn't have to be complicated. You can toss a handful of spinach into your morning eggs. Add chopped kale to a pot of soup. Stir-fry collards with garlic and olive oil. Or blend some leafy greens into a smoothie with banana and yogurt. You'll barely taste them, but your body will feel the benefits. A lot of people believe only dairy products build strong bones. That's not true. For seniors who are lactose intolerant or just don't love milk, greens are a gentle, natural alternative that works just as well, sometimes even better. If you've got greens in your fridge or you plan to start eating more after this, go ahead and comment 5 below. You'll be surprised what a few extra servings of greens can do over time. And now, let's move to the third and final food, something hearty, budget-friendly, and often overlooked. But it might just be the key to unlocking steady, reliable energy in your legs again. The final food, the energy builder most seniors overlook, beans. Let's finish strong with one of the most affordable, filling, and surprisingly powerful foods for seniors, beans. Whether it's black beans, chickpeas, lentils, or kidney beans, these humble little foods hold a secret that too many people overlook. They don't just sit on the side of the plate. They quietly fuel your body in all the right ways, especially when your legs start to feel tired, heavy, or slow. As we age, our muscles not only shrink, they also tire more easily. That drained, sluggish feeling? It's often a signal that your muscles aren't getting the energy they need to stay strong and responsive. Beans help fix that. They're packed with plant-based protein, which helps your muscles rebuild after even small amounts of movement. They are rich in iron and B vitamins, which support stamina and reduce fatigue. And just as important, they contain slow-burning carbohydrates that give you lasting, steady energy throughout the day. So instead of running out of breath after a short walk, your body gets the fuel it needs to keep going without the crash. Beans also support heart health, which is closely tied to leg strength. When your heart pumps stronger, blood flows better to your legs. That means more oxygen, more nutrients, and more stability when you stand, move, or climb stairs. Worried about how to cook them? Don't be. Beans are incredibly versatile. You can toss them into soups, stews, or pasta. Blend chickpeas into hummus for a spread or snack. Add lentils to a rice dish or make a quick bean salad with lemon juice and herbs. Even canned beans work wonderfully. Just rinse them well before using to reduce any discomfort. If beans haven't been a regular part of your meals yet, this is your sign to start. They're simple, inexpensive, and exactly what your legs need to stay strong and energized. If this part spoke to you, comment 6 below to let us know you're still here and learning with us. And now, let's bring everything we've talked about into one clear, hopeful message, because while your legs may be slowing down, that doesn't mean the best of life is behind you. In fact, it might just be the beginning of your comeback. So here's what I want you to remember. If your legs have felt weaker lately, if you started walking less, feeling unsteady, or avoiding movement out of fear, you're not broken. You're not finished. And it's not too late. Your body still responds to care. A few stretches, a few steps, a few simple foods on your plate. That's all it takes to begin again. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. Start with one small change today. One serving of salmon, one handful of greens, one scoop of beans. Because every bite you take is a message to your body. I'm not giving up. If any part of this touched you, leave a comment below and tell me, what's your first step going to be? I read every one. And if you're new here, subscribe to BT Elderly Advice. We're here to walk beside you, not just talk at you.